So our next presenter is going to be Elizabeth Bert. And Elizabeth is coming from Stillwater, Oklahoma, where she did her practicum with Our Daily Bread Food and Resource Center. And her site mentor is Melissa Tuck, who is the assistant director there. Thanks, Melissa, for being here today. And the name of Elizabeth's presentation is 2023 Payne County Food Environment Survey. So Elizabeth, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Elizabeth, and I am here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And I'm really excited. This semester, I was able to do my applied practicum experience at Our Daily Bread Food and Resource Center. We are the Food and Resource Center for our county. And part of my practicum, I was able to administer a survey to our guests just to see and learn more about the food environment of all the guests we serve. So I'm really excited to share with you all of the things that we learned about this from this semester. So a little bit of background on Payne County. We are located in central Oklahoma, and our population is just over 81,000 people. One thing to note, about 31% of our population is comprised of OSU students. So here in Stillwater, Oklahoma State University, that's where we are located. And so that's just one important thing to note. The area of our county is 697 square miles, which is something just to keep in mind when you're thinking about the food environment of our communities. And how vast and rural a lot of the communities, especially that Our Daily Bread works in. So as you can see, I've got two different pictures here, one of the OSU logo. A lot of people who end up here in Stillwater do come from the university. A lot of employment opportunities and things like that. But one thing here in Oklahoma, especially in Payne County, oil and gas is a really popular employment option as well. So one of the communities that we work in is in Cushing. It's kind of located southeast in our county. And Cushing is known as the pipeline crossroads of the world, which I think is something interesting to note as well. So this is a map of all the different food opportunities here in our county. The county food insecurity rate in 2021 was 14.9%. I will note that the previous year was 16.1%. So we are moving in the right direction for food insecurity rates. And we're putting some really awesome resources into the hands of our community members. As you can see here in the center, this is Stillwater, lots of different food resources and opportunities. Our Daily Bread is located in Stillwater. That's where our main site is. We also have 5 different mobile markets that we go out to in the different communities. So we have Yale, Perkins, Cushing, and Glencoe as mobile market sites. But then right here, we also have Ripley, Oklahoma. As you can see, there is nothing else in that community. So our satellite site and being able to provide healthy options is really, really important in that community because the only thing there is their school, our satellite site, and a gas station. Over on the east side of the county, we have Yale, Oklahoma. They also do not have a grocery store or anything else. They have a Dollar General and a farmer's market. But as far as access to healthy food every single day, it's very limited in that community. And so bringing groceries out to these sites is really important to be able to provide that for low-income residents in our community. So the purpose of the food environment survey, it was to better look at the food environment of all the guests that we serve and how we can use this information to implement best practices in addressing food security in our county. So we have lots of great resources and things like that are already in place in our county. Our Daily Bread is one of them. There are a couple other food pantries in our community, but how can we best serve these guests is really important, and that's something that I was interested in looking at with this survey. So these were some of the foundational and concentration specific competencies that I met with all of the products that I designed this semester. So designing a population-based policy and program. My survey was 20 questions long, 16 quantitative questions with 4 qualitative questions that were open-ended, and we received lots of great feedback. I took all of this data and analyzed it and was able to compile it in a way that made more sense than just looking at a bunch of different numbers, and was easier to read. And so when I took that data and interpreted it, I put it into some different graphics and designs for our community members, our partners, things like that, to be able to understand and really see the impact of food insecurity in our communities. And then I took this information and I created a presentation, and I was able to present it to our board members here at Our Daily Bread. And they were just really, it really stuck with them how food insecurity differently impacts different households throughout our community, especially throughout Payne County, people who live in Stillwater and in Cushing, and how they experience food insecurity differently. And so my survey specifically focused on the barriers, perceptions, and challenges faced regarding food access. Some of the questions that I added on my survey were based off the 2014 Feeding America, Hunger in America survey. And so I was able to collect some valid data based off the validity of those questions. And then, like I had mentioned, I also used that data, created a presentation and an infographic, and just to summarize those results for our board members. There is an intersection of hunger and health, and so the lack of consistent access to food can disproportionately cause health issues in low-income households. Food insecurity can lead to type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and obesity. And children are also at a higher risk for poor health and struggling in school whenever they face hunger. So one of the results from our survey, 47% of the survey respondents said that over the past 12 months, they had to choose between purchasing food and paying for healthcare related expenses. And another question we had asked on our survey was if anybody had ever had to choose between paying for rent and utilities and purchasing food. And we had a 66% response rate saying yes. And so just thinking about people who answered yes to both of these questions, having to choose between purchasing food, paying for healthcare related expenses, and paying for rent or utilities, it really puts into perspective some of the households that we're serving, and how we can best address and use these resources in our community to best serve them. So here were a couple of the results. We served 1,483 guests. They received groceries from us during the survey period. We kept our survey period open for 4 weeks because hypothetically we would see every single guest over a 4-week period. Guests are able to come shop with us every 28 days, and so that's why we kept it open for that long. 657 surveys were completed, so that was a 44% response rate from our guests, which is incredibly impressive. And then we had 11 surveys that were completed in Spanish, and 92 of our surveys were completed at Mobile Market or Ripley, our satellite site. And the way that I collected all of our results is I just printed out lots of paper copies and had our guests fill them out on clipboards while they were waiting in line to get their groceries here in Stillwater, or if they were at Mobile Market while they were waiting in their car. And I was available for any questions that they might have had during while they were filling those out. So what does this information tell us? It tells us that Our Daily Bread is doing a great job of serving the low-income population here in Payne County and getting groceries into the hands of those who need it most, and reducing the burden of having to choose between groceries and bills. But while we have been effective in serving our current guests, we're still missing over 75% of eligible Payne County residents with our services. So continuing to spread the word about Our Daily Bread is the most effective way to bring guests into our door. Our satellite sites, including Ripley, they bring healthy groceries into communities that have limited or no access to fresh produce within their town. And mobile markets do the same thing by bringing supplemental groceries who may not be able to travel to Stillwater to come Our Daily Bread, or visit a grocery store, or if they even have one in their community. And then programming that we have, we host the Payne County Health Department and then the Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, or TSET, and as well as us. We have 2 trained staff members to assist with SNAP applications. So all of these programs and resources, they help to bridge the SNAP gap and assist our guests who are eligible to sign up for SNAP with that application. Looking to the future, as Our Daily Bread continues to expand, there are so many ways that we can help to reduce food insecurity in our county. One of the ways is advocating for Congress to pass a strong farm bill. The farm bill is what fund SNAP. And so if we're able to pass a strong one and it's coming up soon, that's one way to help reduce food insecurity in our communities. One thing that I've also been working on after I completed our survey is accepting SNAP benefits at our local farmers market. That's something that here in Stillwater has never been an option for SNAP users. And so after that, I created a proposal for the farmers market and have looked into different funding opportunities, and I'm really excited for that program. We also have something in Oklahoma called the Double Up Oklahoma program. And so it would be awesome to introduce that into our community, which gives guests another way to access fresh fruits and vegetables without having to allocate other SNAP dollars for fresh produce and locally grown produce. And then hosting programs and classes that best serve all of the guests at Our Daily Bread, encouraging communities to increase access to fresh fruits and vegetables through better access to grocery stores. Like I had mentioned in Yale, they didn't have a grocery store, but there is a community member that is passionate about opening one, and they're taking the steps to get that open in their community here within the next few months, which is very exciting. And then engaging community members to continue the fight against hunger in Payne County. And then finally, this last one, this is the mission of Our Daily Bread. And so we will continue to feed our community collaboratively and provide connections that enable lasting change. I want to give a huge shout out to Our Daily Bread. I see both Rachel and Melissa are on here. It was really awesome being able to do my APE here this semester. One thing that I wrote in my portfolio reflection is how Our Daily Bread was one of the first organizations that I had been involved with when I started my undergrad degree here in Stillwater when I was a freshman. And so it's been very rewarding to kind of wrap up my educational career here as well. I want to thank Melissa as well for taking the time with me this semester to just brainstorm different ideas, how I can best serve our community and Our Daily Bread. And then I also would like to thank Lee as well.
Nice job, Elizabeth. Thanks so much. Super